Welcome back. I'm Sheldon McLeod. This is Thinking Out Loud, presented to you by SaltWire. And in just a few seconds, we're going to be talking with Matt Mays about what his role will be in this benefit concert. And I know a lot of people have been talking about the fires across the province, and we do know that, well, there is a concert happening, and it is to raise funds for a United Way campaign. And to perhaps show you a little more on that, they did release a news release, they being United Way Halifax, launching what they call the Wildlife Recovery Appeal with funding to support recovery and rebuilding efforts right across Nova Scotia. And I had to say, it's great on them to pull this together in such a short time frame. We're going to talk a little bit about the performances, but I wanted to talk about the logistics. And joining us is Deborah Page. She's with United Way Halifax. It's so nice to see you again, Deborah.
Nice to see you, Sheldon. Thank you.
This did seem to come together quite quickly. Tell me about the overall campaign and when it was that you started to pull this together.
So we formally announced the campaign last Wednesday, and we were very fortunate to have a long-standing partner of ours, Amera, come in and help us kickstart it with a commitment of $250,000, which we are very, very grateful for. And then from there, it just started steamrolling. Corporate donors, individual donors, people walking into our offices off the street with cash. Lots of people want to help. And there's a number of organizations, obviously, with campaigns underway, and we are in constant conversation with them about how we each do kind of our own roles and responsibilities along the way. So where the Red Cross would be funding individuals who have been impacted directly, we are more focused on those in the community who are experiencing poverty. Also, historically marginalized communities who we know from experience are hit much harder by situations like these. And then we fund organizations in community, so nonprofits and agencies that then deliver the services. And it's crucial that these services continue to be offered in communities. Because here's, this kind of situation can easily tip a family into poverty for the very first time.
We had a housing crisis before a number of houses were lost, and people will have to be put up temporarily or might be long-term before contractors and that. I saw someone post this morning that, they got back into their home. The house smells like smoke, but the fridge, kind of a write-off because of what had happened. That's insurance. That's Red Cross. Those agencies are looking. You're looking towards people who might have been living in a tent and were told to get out of the woods. Am I right?
Perhaps, or someone that was living paycheck to paycheck, maybe a sole parent who had their children at one of the daycares. There's, 2 daycares we lost in the fires. And so now they have nowhere for their child to go. They may be working 1 or 2 jobs, and if they don't show up those jobs, they might not get paid. So we're hearing very early on from some of the folks in community that we're speaking to that some of the early needs are centered around food, so groceries, as you mentioned, filling the fridge back up, filling the freezer back up, basic personal supplies, cleaning supplies, emergency kit items, personal protective gear for cleaning up outside their spaces and inside their spaces to do that safely, and also travel expenses. So when you think about folks in community, they may need help on transportation costs for medicine delivery or grocery delivery or taxi chits or bus passes for people who don't have transportation.
This campaign, as you say, has been going for more than a week. The concert is expected to draw, thousands of people to the Scotiabank Centre to see entertainment, but also to help support United Way. That also will help fund these programs. That's what the intention is?
That is absolutely correct. And to be clear, we are funding and helping and supporting organizations here in HRM, which is our traditional mandate. But Shelburne and Barrington areas, they don't have a United Way organization. So we are certainly actually going to be serving those communities as well and determining what the need is. So the money raised will be impacting all of those communities that are most impacted. We've been very, very fortunate so far in terms of the response. not totally surprising because we know what Nova Scotians and others can be like during these kind of things. But we've raised just over 800,000 already, and so we're very very grateful for the music industry coming together. They always do in these kinds of situations. They are so generous with their time and their talent. And we can't wait for Friday night as well, so that we can thank them in person and enjoy what they have to offer, and hopefully it'll give people a bit of a lift in spirits as well.
Deborah Page, Director of Strategic Communications with United Way Halifax. Thank you for this, and thank you for the work you do. Thank you. There's an event happening on Friday. It's a concert, a wildfire recovery concert, starring Matt Mays, Jen Grant, Joel Plaskett. It's happening at Scotiabank Centre in Halifax. The tickets are on sale now. And this is going to be a major opportunity for people to come together. And Matt Mays, as mentioned, is one of those who is participating. Matt Mays, thank you very much for joining the conversation.
Oh, no problem, man. Thanks for having me.
And I want to ask, when did you get the call? When, because this seems it came together pretty quickly here.
Yeah, there was some murmurs going around. I know almost everybody on the bill, and everybody the people on the bill I know wanted to help. Probably before the concert was even conceived, I called Louis Thompson and just said if there's anything I can do. I'm here to do it. And then he said, okay, leave it with me. And then 5 days later, there was an arena show completely planned. So it all happened very quick.
Yeah, very, very affordable, $20. Tickets go up to $200. I guess that depends if you want to be up close, a little bit closer to the stage. And I want to ask if you have any personal connection. Is there anyone in your life that was directly impacted? A lot of people were put out of their homes for quite a few days.
Yeah, I did a lot of growing up in Allen Heights. We had a cottage out there from when I was about 14. And then in 97, when I graduated from high school, my folks moved out there. So they had a house right out that way. And I have a bunch of friends out that way too that were really affected. And so it was just kind of extra close to home, I suppose. But yeah, no, it was almost surreal. You know, all go down. I was feeling pretty far away because it was kind of just hearing it from the horse's mouth from a lot of friends. It made it pretty real.
You've been in Ontario for a number of years, but you're here a lot. The Shore Club shows. Obviously, you spend a lot of time in Nova Scotia, and do you still? I don't want to ask if you feel like you've moved away because you're still here a lot, but your day-to-day life isn't right here in Nova Scotia where you grew up.
Yeah, I'm really super serious about music, and Canada is pretty underpopulated as far as how big it is, and I moved to Ontario because that's sort of the hub of the music here, and my goal in life is to get my songs out to as many people as possible so that they might help them. So I find being here in Toronto, I've got quite a few connections here from being here, and I have a recording studio here and a venue here. So I can get it to, closer to bigger acts, and the whole music industry is here. That being said, I think anybody who knows me knows that my mind and my heart is at home all the time, and I follow everything going on at home, and I get back usually once a month or more. So it's just one of those things. I'm doing it for my music right now, and that's sort of my career, I guess. But I will always be a Nova Scotian. That's one thing I do know.
You can take the musician out of Nova Scotia. You can't take, the rest of that. You were talking about how the Scotiabank or the Metro Centre is going to be turned into a big kitchen on Friday. How's this going to work? Just curious logistics, because there's so many great acts. How do you divide that up?
Well, in all my years of touring and playing shows, I think Sonic Concerts has probably one of the most incredible superhuman group of people putting on shows. I know them all quite well, and it's pretty insane to watch them in action, how calm they all are. And it's like, I would be going crazy if I had to do what they were doing under pressure, but they're just all so good. They're the best in the business. So when Louis said they were going to do it, I didn't even question it, because I knew what they were capable of. And like I said earlier, I know everybody wants to help out. So I knew getting artists wasn't going to be a problem. And yeah, no, it's just all of the people at Sonic, all the production team, and everybody else, and all the way down the line who just said yes to do it. So it's just really, it just goes to show the East Coast sort of heart, you know.
Well, and as you say, you said, if there's anything I can do to help. I'm sure you get a lot of requests for a lot of things through your career and through your life to help out and to support. How do you decide? How do you prioritize?
Well, I'd love to do everything if I could, but I mean, I think when it comes to something like this, where it's just, I mean, I actually called to help. And I mean, I think most of the artists did too. If it's something that's really dear to my heart, and I try to do as much as I can for charity, and I'm planning to do a lot more in the future. And but you only have so many hours in the day, because I'm trying to get this darn record finished right now in here, and I want to get that done. And you know, life's pretty busy, but I'll make time for Nova Scotia anytime. I'll put everything on hold anytime if they need my help at all.
And when you have, so many great artists all on stage for this benefit, I mean, you have to go to some of the songs people love and they expect to hear from Matt Mays. Is there a time to throw something new, or maybe a cover of something that's poignant and fitting?
Are you crazy? It's the one thing that everybody hates. A singer says, "This is a new one," like no one likes that. So I don't think I've got the courage, man. I think it's going to be a hit parade or whatever, just because I'm terrified to. No, I don't know. You never know. I think I'm really confident in these new ones, but we'll see. We'll see. But I don't know. I get sentimental at shows when I get home. I like playing the old ones, so we'll see. It's probably going to be a bit of this, bit of that.
Have you set? Does anybody know what the last song is going to be? I'm envisioning everybody on stage at once in that big chorus, and big voices and big personalities.
We're working on it. I made a couple of calls to some of the other people. We want it to be perfect. So there's still a lot of worker bees all buzzing around backstage here and making this to make the show perfect. So, but yeah, I one thing I can guarantee, it's going to be a magical night for sure.
Absolutely. And no one will want to miss this. It's going to be a packed house, and it's all in support of the wildfire recovery. Matt Mays, thank you for taking a few seconds out of your day to talk to us about it. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it too.
Are you getting tired? Turn off the noise. Tune in to what matters. What matters is information you can trust. What matters is the news you can use to make life's big decisions. Informed healthcare choices, casting the smart vote, or opening that business. What matters is understanding the world around you. Let SaltWire connect you to what matters with unlimited access to the information you need for only $20 for the first year. Become a member today.